What up, y'all? It's the Real Ball Watcher, and grab your binoculars because the Thomas Brown era has started in Charlotte. Let's jump into this all-22. Now, quick maintenance before we jump into this all-22. If I look away, y'all know what it is. I'm looking at the stats and scripts I have up. Quick maintenance before we jump into the film, though. Let's talk about Thomas Brown. We know he was the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. He was hired this offseason. And him and Frank Reich have always talked about eventually the play calling being handed over to him. He was actually the one who made the playbook. He talked about the playbook being as close to 50-50 as he possibly could make it, but it's more like 60-40 Reich style versus his style, which he comes from the Sean McVay tree, but we'll get into that later. But what I did find while doing my research was pretty cool, and I feel like it's not very mentioned a lot. He's always talked about as the Georgia running back coach and running back coach here. But, and of course the assistant coach for the Rams and the running backs coach and tight ends coach for the Rams. But what I found was pretty interesting was he was the offensive coordinator for the Miami Hurricanes from 2016 to 2018-19, one of those, 2018-19. And I just wanted to compare when his first year when he took over to 2015 for the Hurricanes. By the way, he coached David Njoku, Gus Edwards, Travis Homer, a couple other NFL guys. So, he got a little bit of, something on the side. Let's look at 2016. The Hurricanes finished 9-4 that year, and they ranked 20th in the final AP polls. So they was a pretty good team that year. The Miami offense averaged 425 total yards. That's rushing and passing combined, up from 397 the year before when they had a different offensive coordinator. Miami QB Brad Kaya, I don't know how to say his name, sorry. He threw for 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. And that was up from 3,200 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions the year before under a different offensive coordinator. Couple more things. Miami went from 30 points per game to 361 points, total points, and 41 touchdowns in 2015. When Thomas Brown was hired in 2016, they were up to 34.3 points per game, 446 total points, and 55 touchdowns in the 2016 year when Brown took over. So he had a little bit of success for about, I want to say, 2 years in Miami. That third year was a little rocky. I think that's when that whole staff got fired and he moved on, and then I think he got hired to South Carolina to be their running backs coach. But that was just a nice little tidbit that I haven't heard anybody mention, and the Real Ball Watcher gonna look out when he's doing his research, so y'all know I know what I'm talking about. But like I said before, he came from McVay, that tree. That's one of the highest pedigree trees in the NFL, one of the greatest minds in the NFL offensively, and one of the greatest minds coaching, period. He was actually the assistant coach to McVay and very close to McVay wing. McVay talked about him knowing his system in and out, to the point where, like I said, he was the assistant coach, the running backs coach, and then the next year he was the assistant coach, tight end coach. He actually won a Super Bowl with Sean McVay, I want to say 2 years ago. We all watched it when they traded for Matt Stafford and had an all-star team. But he won a Super Bowl with that team, so he has a Super Bowl pedigree. And like I said, he knows that McVay offense, which uses a lot of motion on pass and run plays. I'll just say that. It uses a lot of motion. A lot of Tutu Atwell going in motion. A lot of getting guys going early so they can hit top speed faster and threaten DBs. That's all I'm going to say. He uses a lot of motion. I'll put up a chart. Look at the chart. And in terms of offensive, we're using motion on run plays. Offense is using motion on pass plays. Look who's at the top. Look at those offenses at the top. Premium offenses. Look where Sean McVay and the Rams are compared to where the Panthers were before we handed the play calling over. That's all I'm going to say. But let's jump into this all-22. Just want to do a little bit of maintenance. Grab your binoculars. Let's get into it. First play. Let's look at this first play. Rams are in shotgun. I just wanted to show how their blocking scheme is, how they use motion compared to how we do. Well, I won't really show any Panthers run plays because, we've all seen them in the last Frank Reich video. They're boring. Blocking schemes are terrible. But I just wanted to show you got, I want to say that's Tyler Higbee in motion. Probably not Tyler Higbee. Probably some other white man that plays tight end. He's in motion. You kick out the right tackle, block down with the rest of the line. Right tackle gets to the linebacker. The motion man takes over for the DN, opens a big hole. I'll let it run a couple times. That's just, that's one way that they use a little bit more creativity and emotion in their run game versus, our boring, hey, you block down, and hope that somebody creates a hole. That's just one play. Now this next play, Run play versus a stout run defense. Maybe stout might be a little gassing, but a good defense in the 49ers, period. And I just wanted to show. Remember last week when I talked about getting our offensive linemen on the moves and playing to our guys' strength, like Akeem Aquanu, who was our 6th overall pick? Let's look at this play. So I'm going to let it run first. Quick little pitch outside to Kyron Williams. A lot of space, a lot of movement. You know, guys getting up to their blocks and creating holes. Now I'm going to pull up the actual blocking scheme for it. So on this, you have your outside receiver, who looks to be Tutu Atwell, motioning over pre-snap. That's moving the linebackers, making them pull the rope, or making guys' eyes look eventually, you know. Then you have your point receiver, Puka Nacua in the stack, your point receiver blocking down on the defensive end. I know receivers can't block defensive ends, but it's a reason that he did that. The play wasn't being ran to that hole that he's blocking down to. Defensive end was out of the play. All he had to do was really get in his way. Anyways, Puka Nacua blocks down. I want to say that's Van Jefferson in the back of the stack. He's going to block out on number 2. You have your right tackle pulling around those receivers, and then you have your your right guard pushing up pass into Fred Warner, while your center blocks down. Your left guard pushes up into Dre Greenlaw, or up into the linebackers basically. Then the rest of your line just blocks out. Then you're going to run a pitch. That's going to get your offensive linemen blocking linebackers, creating holes, and, you know, just getting better holes and better explosiveness out of the run game, instead of just a boring, hey, let's block now, you block here, I block here, hey, maybe we could double team up to this guy and move him over. You know, I'm going to keep letting the play run just so y'all can see that look at the hole that it's creating. When he's running through that lane, look at the holes, look at the 2 lanes that he has. Cut back, ooh, you know, he's getting a couple yards. He's not running home. He's not running home to dinner, but, you know, he's getting a good chunk of yards, a good little explosion out of that. That's probably at least 6-7 yards that we don't get on the run game. We're lucky if we get 4. So that's just one run play to show the difference in the blocking schemes that the Rams had versus us. Next play, same game. I want to say you're in I formation. Higbee is off of the offensive line. You have 5 offensive linemen down, and I'm gonna let the play run. I'm gonna just shut up and let the play run. Look at these holes that's being created. Good. Like I said, these plays, I didn't want to show no home run plays because that's unrealistic. This is stuff you're going to see usually. You're going to see 3, 4, 5, 6 yards a game on the usual in the run game if you have a good run game. So I want to show this. I'm going to let the play run. Y'all look at this play. And then I'm about to pull up this blocking scheme for it. So, a lot of movement here. You have Higbee, or whoever your tight end is, blocking down on the defensive end. You have your left tackle blocking out on the defensive end. That's creating a gap that your running back can run through. That's why I think we need to run more gap schemes, instead of zone. More gap stuff to get guys on the move and create gaps for our running back, since we're not doing it through the strength wise. Anyway, left guard, he's going to pull backside and block out the backside defensive end. Right guard is going to block out on the defensive end on the backside. You're going to pull your tackle up to the backside linebacker. That's why it's creating a lot of gaps, a lot of holes that you can run through. And then, you know, you're just going to hand it off through that, I want to say the C, maybe B gap. Yeah, the C gap. Let him hand it off. It's a couple gaps that if that isn't there, he can cut back to. The linebackers are preoccupied. You have Tyler, whatever bro name is, Troy Polamalu, fake great value brand. He's coming down the lane. And I want to say the makeshift B gap in case you need to cut it back. But that's still a lot of yards. He cuts the C gap anyway, cuts back up. You know, it's just creating gaps for our guys to run through. And I think that'll help Miles Sanders, since I know y'all hate him. That'll help Miles Sanders get going in the run game. He's not this contact balance guy where you're going to hit him, he's going to fall forward, he's going to bounce off, he's going to get you 3-4 tough yards. That's not his game. He's an explosive guy where you create a hole, he see hole, hit hole. He has good vision. He gets to that hole and springs out. He hasn't been explosive because of his groin injuries. But the offensive system that we're running him in also isn't utilizing his value the correct way. So I think getting him in a gap blocking scheme will be a lot better for Miles Sanders, and he'll be a lot more productive. So we can still run the zone blocking schemes and stuff with Chuba, as we've seen he's very successful in that, because that's the type of back his skill set allows him to be successful in. But in Miles Sanders, Raheem Blackshear, those guys will be really, really good in this gap blocking scheme that McVay has, and that hopefully Thomas Brown, which I think he will since we got a bye week. Hopefully he implements in our run game coming up this week again, or coming up in 2 weeks against the Texans. All right, long-winded video, I know, sorry guys, but you know, I just want to show y'all what we got going on. So now we're gonna jump into the pass game. Let's jump into the pass game. If you see my phone, sorry buddy, I gotta look at this film, you feel me? I gotta show y'all what we're running. But okay, like I said before, the Rams use a lot of motion. A lot of motion in their offense. Look at this first play. We're going to let it run first. Tutu Atwell is going to motion from being the boundary receiver into the slot. But there is a pre-snap snap, so he doesn't get set. He's actually still motioning when the ball is snapped. But it turns him into the slot receiver. He's going to run a drag route. Wow, I want to say that's Puka Nacua, who turns into the new boundary receiver. That's not Puka, I lied. That is, I don't know who that is. I want to say that's 12, 13. I don't know who that is. But whatever. He's going to run out. He's going to run a speed out. Tutu Atwell is going to be on a drag, clearing out those middle defenders. You're going to have Higbee, who's lined up in your tight end. Just run through the middle, sit down. The drag occupies those middle defenders, occupy their eyes, and that's just an easy completion. I'll put the drawing up so y'all can see. Maybe I said it in the wrong order, my bad. But I'll put the drawing up so y'all can see exactly how the play looks. And then, of course, your boundary receiver on the backside is just going to be a clear out. But, you know, motion over, speed out, turns into the boundary receiver. Drag clears those middle defenders. You're going to have your tight end sit down in the middle. Easy completion on a third down, second down, whenever you just want to get that first. Or if you need a little chunk play to eat some yards back up. And I like that play. I mean, if the hook isn't there to the tight end, you can easily dump it down to the drag. He'll at least get you 2-3 yards. With somebody who's juiced up as Tutu Atwell, he might get you more. But we don't have somebody like that. So we got to be honest. Probably going to get 2-3 yards because it'll probably be DJ Chark who can't miss it, make a guy miss. But I like that play call. I like how they motion guys over. And I hope we can start utilizing stuff like that in our next play. I'm going to let it run. Rams, Seahawks. Oh, by the way, all these plays are from this year for these Seahawks guys. I like this kind of levels concept to open up the middle of the field. This works great against zone teams, especially somebody like the Seahawks who have a slower linebacker and Bobby Wagner starting in the middle of the field. But anyways, now we're going to pull up the drawing for this play so we can actually, you know, talk about how that it was drew up. So, you're going to come out in doubles. You're going to motion over Tutu Atwell. Let's look at the top of the screen. Tutu Atwell does a short motion, chip block defensive end, quick little flat route. He's just your check down and, you know, helping your tackle on the check, on the chip, I mean. That receiver at the top of the, not necessarily, yeah, I guess you can call that, no, the bunch. Or is that a bunch or a stack? Stop talking. Anyways, the top receiver is going to run a speed out. Big speed out. Look at the depth of that route. Where I drew this is accurate to where they ran that route. Look at the depth of that route. That's at least 14, 13, maybe more yards that he's running at depth. That's going to open up the field more and open up more explosive plays for our offense. But let's keep going. You're going to have your running back come out, check down. He's just going to do a little out route to the flat in the same way that Tutu Atwell is going. That's going to create the levels concept. Backside, you have a tight end running to the flat, just a little another check down, and then you're going to have Puka running his big deep dig or big deep in about the same depth as the backside speed out. That is what opens up this level concept because the running back coming out of the backfield, let's go ahead and run the play. The running back coming out of the backfield occupies your middle defenders, which is going to have a safety rotating down. They're in cover 3. Going to have a safety rotating down in the hook. You're going to have I think that's a defensive end lined up. He's going to guard that flat for the tight end. So now those hook defenders have to pay attention to this running back, or it's going to be easy completion for about 8 or more yards because that's a running back. You can make some guys missing space. Don't give them space. So they have to occupy that deep. They have to occupy that shallow zone. But then you have Puka coming right behind those linebackers for a big, deep 20, maybe 16-yard completion, somewhere around there. Not a necessarily explosive play over top where guys are just running off, running a go ball, running a post. But those are big chunk plays that we don't have in our offense. We could use a big 16 to 20-yard game off a deep dig. And that's what this level concept basically brings up. that's going to free up those guys. I mean, you can look at the top. The top doesn't necessarily matter. You're just going to have Tutu Atwell motion in, chip, go out, going to have that big speed out. So maybe, since it's in cover 3, maybe if the deep dig isn't there and you're somehow, some way, your check downs aren't there and your running back isn't there, say they're running man or they're running this cover 3 and it's not there, which cover 3 basically turns into man down the field, maybe this speed out at the top can get open and you hit a guy for a good completion for another, like I said, 15 to 20 yards. But that just shows that this running your routes at a deeper depth can create space for underneath, which will get you 5 to 8 yards, maybe even more. And then if they don't, or if they crowd the space underneath, that's going to give you big chunk plays on that deep dig that's up to 16, 18, 20 yard gains. And if he hits them in stride here and Puka keeps running, he could get a little more. Maybe he can get up to 30. Maybe he can make a guy miss. I know he probably won't, but maybe he can make a guy miss and take it all the way. That's just showing how these route concepts would be different. Sorry if it's a changing time of day, my camera died, but long-winded video. Not sure how far we are into the video, but I feel like I've been talking all day. So we're gonna jump into the next play. It's hard to really see what Thomas Brown looks like calling plays because he doesn't have a rich history or any history of doing that in the NFL. But as we know, in the preseason, he was allowed to call plays in the second half of the game. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna look at some of the plays that he ran in the second half versus the Giants, because I feel like that showed us a lot. So the first play, let's pull up this first play. I'm gonna let it run right quick. Go ahead, let this play run. Big out, boom. Big speed out at the top. So now I'm gonna pull up this play design, this play art, show you guys what the play looks like on the X's and O's. So we're gonna start from the left to the right. We got trips. Well, gonna start the right to left. Got trips right. Tight end is flexed out into the slot to the left side, back to the left. So what we're gonna have is, from your boundary receiver, he's gonna have a slant or a drag to pull the. By the way, the Iron Man covers the Iron Man cover too high. That's why the 2 safeties are at the top of the screen or in the middle of the screen at the kind of like the hashes, because they're man too high. So you're going to have a slant from the boundary receiver. He's going to take that outside corner inside, across the field. Going to have a big clear out from your slot. He's just going to take the top safety and pull him down the field along with his man. Going to have a speed out from the slot receiver, which I want to say is Shy Smith. Going to have a speed out at about, let's say 12 to 14 yard depth. And then we're going to have the back in the backfield. He's going to give you an out. That's your check down, or the slant is to check down. Then we have Tommy Tremble kind of flex into a slot position. There's no other receiver there, so he's kind of the boundary receiver. And he's just going to be running it in. So that's kind of that levels concept we was talking about with the Rams. That slant is going to pull down the middle defenders if they were in zone or if somebody's helping, and that should open up the backside dig for Tommy Tremble. But in this play, as we seen, we're going to run the play again. As we seen, ball snaps, that clear out takes his man and the safety over the top. The speed out is open because the nickel or the slot corner took an inside leverage. He took inside leverage against the speed out, so you're going to win against inside leverage on the out route or any out route really. But even if you look at the other parts of the design, I mean, let's look at the slant at the bottom. Hey, not much separation. But then when you go up to the top, okay, our running back has a little bit of separation in the flat and grass to run if he's hit. And also look at Tommy Tremble. Boom. That's enough separation on that dig if you can fit it in there. But hit the speed out, good speed out actually, and got a big gain. So I think that'll improve the depth of target of Bryce Young, and we'll run plays deeper downfield rather than running these sticks, running these, mesh concepts with every route that's only 5 yards or less of depth. All right, next play. Back in the preseason, we are going to have, I'm gonna let the play run. Let me stop talking, let the play run. Cool. Now I'm gonna pull up this play design. So we have 2 receivers to the right, 2 receivers to the left. They're kind of in a bunch to the left. And we're going to have it back out the backfield. Now, this is what I was talking about with that levels concept, and also the depth of target that these receivers are running at. So you're going to have from right to left, you're going to have your receiver that's off of the line in the stack. He's just going to run a big drag or maybe a kind of like a 5-yard dig. You're going to run that across the field. That's going to create one level to pull those linebackers up because they're in zone. Looks like they're in cover 3 pre-snap. They were in a form of cover 3. So you're going to pull those linebackers up, but that person beside him, or I can't see who that is, whatever receiver is beside that drag route is going to have an even bigger kind of crossing dig. Now your back is also going to chip and then release into the flat for a check down. But look at the space that he has when we run that video back, how much space the back has, just in case, you know, and nothing's open. That's what happens when you run your routes at a deeper depth of field. I don't know what I'm trying to say. At a deeper depth, more yards down the field, it brings defenders out and it leaves more room for your check down to work. So back to the concept, your running back chips into the check down. Your slot on the other side, he's going to run a crossing route, but that crossing route kind of rubs with the dig on the front side, so it's also like a rub and pick in the same time. And then you're going to have you clear out from your back boundary receiver who's running like a go / post kind of concept across the field. So I'm gonna let the play run again, and as you can see, the play was incomplete, but look at that drag underneath. Look at that drag underneath. Look how much space the drag has underneath. If it was completed, he has a lot of grass in front of him to pick up a big, maybe 15-20 yard gain. Also, let's take it off the drag. Look at the check, or look at the running back in the flat. Look at his check down. If he turns, if it's nothing there, turn, hit that running back, he has all day to run. That's at least a 20 yard gain. But then you can see up top, they played it well up top. That's what happens when you play the routes that's deeper downfield well up top. You're leaving stuff underneath for them to get easy chunks. So that's in that one play. Let's go and move on to the next. All right, next play. Let's go ahead and run it one time. Let everybody see what's going on. And of course, it's going to be incomplete, but we kind of don't have a good quarterback in at the time. So I'm gonna show you guys where the ball should have went, could have went, and what this play design does. So starting, we have a trips to the right, one receiver down on the left, and you have your back in the backfield also to the right. So start from left to right. So you're gonna have a receiver come in, do a zig route on the left side. Your running back is going to check to the flat, kind of like a little curl. You're going to have your slot receiver running a big crossing route across the middle of the field, while you have your second slot running a clear out route. He's just going to run straight, pull the safeties out, clear out route. And then you're going to have your receiver in the boundary on a backside dig. Big backside dig, about 15-20 yards of depth. And everything on this play, except for the 2 checkdowns, which is your running back and then your zig, are about 15-20 yards of depth, those 3 routes. So what did we say earlier? That's going to pull those defenders down, so where the check down has a lot more space to maneuver. But let's go ahead and run the play again now that we know what's going to happen. I'm going to see if I can slow this down for y'all. If not, I'll just run the play a couple times in between me talking. Looking at this play, if you look at the backside dig, they are in a cover 3, safety rotated down, and the backside dig is open. The backside dig is open, but he doesn't have enough time. Or let's say he doesn't have enough time. Okay, look at the slot. Look at the flat. Look at the running back. Not the flat, sorry. Look at the check down to the running back. It's nobody near the running back. I'm going to keep running it a couple times so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Nobody near the running back. You don't have any time. Okay, you break a tackle, Bryce. This isn't Bryce, this is Jake Lutton. But you break a tackle, Bryce. Go ahead and hit your running back. That's a first down. Easily. Nobody's near him. But, okay, you break. Let's say you don't break a tackle. Iki, instead of whoever this guy is. I want to say it's Ricky Lee. It might not be. Sorry if it's not you, Ricky Lee, and I dissed you. If we have somebody in with better pass protection and actually gives a little more time, that backside dig is wide open for that window. I even have a screenshot. I'm going to pull up the screenshot for y'all so you can see where the backside dig is. You see the backside dig is coming into that open window between the flat defender. Not really flat. That's like a hook and a, I don't know what you call that out there. That's a way deeper flat, but he's coming in between the hook and that outside defender. That's an open window in the zone. That's an open window easily. You thread that needle, big game, big first down. So I'm gonna run the play one more time just so y'all can see once again. Zig at the bottom doesn't really get open because he occupies those 2 defenders. The crosser occupies 2 defenders. The clear out, go, occupies the safety and that outside defender that we was talking about. Big Dig is open, and nobody's in the middle of the field to cover the running back if you want to dump it down and get an easy first down. So that's, once again, talking about the depth of the routes that we're running. If he implements this in the regular season playbook, Bryce Young's depth of target should go way up, and he should be throwing for close to 300 yards a game now that he's going to be throwing it deeper, I believe. This is just what I believe. He could do something completely different. They could handcuff Thomas Brown and he not do this. And sadly, I do not have any more plays that I want to show. Like I said, he only called plays in the second half of the preseason games, so he doesn't have much tape out there. But those are just some of the things and some of the concepts that he could steal from the Rams, and some of the things that he did run that you could see the Rams run also in the preseason that could help Bryce Young and help the offense be a little more explosive, be a little more efficient, and have better route concepts, better blocking schemes in the run game, run more gap scheme runs for our guy like Miles Sanders, or if he's not healthy, Raheem Blackshear, to get a little more burst and a little more big plays out of our run game, and that could all, make our offense a lot more efficient. So that's just what I believe we will see. That's what he's shown on tape, and I'm hoping that this works out. If you like the video, like and subscribe. It's the Real Ball Watcher. Put your binoculars back up. But appreciate y'all. I don't know how long this video will be. I'll have to see. It feels like it's very long-winded. If it's not, my bad. I'm just talking out my, buttocks. But yeah, it felt like a long-winded video, but I appreciate y'all. I really like doing film, all 22 reviews, and just talking about football in general. So like a comment, leave a comment, see how you feel about Thomas Brown. Do you think this will fix some of the problems that the Panthers have? Of course, this won't fix everything. I still think we need to trade for a receiver, kind of to run that Tutu Atwell role where he's motioning over, moving defenders and threatening with his speed. But I do think that we have some personnel to run a lot of the stuff that we've seen in the preseason, because nobody out there was really a burner. But, that's just my opinion. Y'all like, comment, leave what you think. Send it to other Panthers fans so they know this is an educational video, so they know what to expect. And we can, all cherish the little bit of hope that we do have left in this season. If Thomas Brown isn't good, it's gone. But with that said, I'm out, man. See y'all next week.